All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to a brand new episode of With the Side of Chaos. This is Patricio, a.k.a. Rocky. I am by myself today because I love art and I want to learn more about it. No, it's that Tulsi has to do some comedy tonight and Alex is working, so I am here and I am going to sit down with these two amazing, wonderful individuals that one I have met, that I have had a great relationship over the past, I think, year and a half, and the other one that I usually just stalk on social media.
That's not creepy at all.
Not creepy, yeah, at all. Welcome to the show. We have, and I should have asked this even before I hit the live because I always mess up people's last names.
Auer.
Bess Auer.
Like 60 minutes.
I love it. We got Bess Auer and Juan Pablo Santa Luna joining me tonight on With the Side of Chaos. And this episode is fun because we have two artists. We have two people from two completely different backgrounds, but with the goal of spreading their art into the world. And Juan, you have been around internationally, and Beth, you are hitting the different corners of the earth every day with your social media and your TikTok that we are going to dive into in a little bit.
Oh, no.
But Bess, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Yeah. So I come from a background. I was a classroom teacher, believe it or not, for almost 20 years before I then went into, still stayed in education, but educating influencers, marketers, and corporations on how to do their digital strategy. You know, when I first started as an adult, there was not even really internet, and now I'm full on into digital media and social media. I ran the Florida Blogger and Social Media Conference for a decade. My husband and I ran Florida Swim Network for the same amount of time. And COVID hit, and like many people, I was at home and kind of looking inward for that satisfaction. And so I've always been artsy, started doing sculpting, and I really saw it was actually kind of an extension of my whole community building that I do with my education of social media and building community online. And so it was just an extension of that. And one thing led to another. I meet up with Juan Pablo, and he's like, oh man, we got to do something with this. So I blame him, but I'm also thankful for him.
Juan Pablo, this is your second time back on Chaos, and I'm excited to have you back. Tell us, introduce who you are and what you've been up to.
Well, first of all, it is a pleasure being here again, Patricio. Well, just a little bit about me. I kind of start off all this journey about art a couple of years ago. Now I have the pleasure to be like a kind of an art agent.
Ooh, okay.
You know, and on the side, I also dedicate my time to be kind of a community unifier, which is, I mean, some people maybe is asking what is a community unifier, which is a person who unifies a community from the inside out. So I go there outside to the community. I talk to them about what they need, what they want, and what they are able to give back to the community. And this is my focus in the Hispanics and Americans. So how to find the right connector to unify us. So yeah.
That's awesome because like I me growing up, I was always the guy that people went to, and like I think Boris can attest to this. Where like if you know I'm the guy who knows somebody that could connect someone to someone else. I've always been the connector my entire life. Like earlier this week, my boss called me up, and it was the most random thing. She hits me up at around 8:30 in the evening, and her first words were like, "Do you know anybody who owns a food truck?" And of course I do. I mean, I'm Patricio. I know everybody on everything in any way, shape, or form. And it's always cool to be able to connect someone with something that they need or something they're not exposed to beforehand, because it's something that, you know, might better their lives in one sense or another. You know, I don't know how a taco truck's going to benefit her, but hey, I feel confident in that. But Bess, let's go back to you real quick, because we've been in the same circle of friends for a couple of years now. But you started popping up more and more in my feed in regards to TikTok. Now we're gonna jump in on that one just for a little bit, and we're gonna come back. But like, what got you on that platform?
Oh my gosh! So all right, so I am on TikTok until it gets banned, like everybody else. I do a lot of consulting. I have clients that I can't consult them with their marketing digitally unless I know how to use it. And so TikTok was new. Nobody really knew how to use it. And I couldn't say, yes, you need to be on TikTok, or no, you shouldn't be on TikTok unless I understood the platform and what it could and could not do. So my account totally started as just a testing ground to get in there, figure out what it was. So I had no purpose other than just kind of playing around with the videos. So I'm at home because I work from home, and I was like, what can I show? Oh, I'll show my fish, because we're the ones that turned our swimming pool into a koi pond. And so we started with 4 koi, got 40 more, and now we have over 200.
Hold on, you just jumped right there. You said from 4, and then you got 40 more. Like, where does one get koi?
Yeah. So all right. So after Hurricane Irma 2017, our pool turned green, as many Central Floridians had their pool turn green when you lose power. Nobody in my family swims anymore. My son's grown and gone. My husband are in her 50s. My 83-year-old mother lives with us. So nobody was swimming. So we looked at this green pool, and my husband said, I really don't feel like putting in all the work to put it back blue. Let's just go get some fish.
That is the most Florida thing to say.
As drinking his beer. So we went down to the local PetSmart, bought 4 koi for like $8 a fish, put them in, and we said, okay, if they live, we'll get some more. They lived. So we then went online. There's a great place called Black Creek Koi Farms. It's right here in like Umatilla or someplace, but they supply like the entire nation of all the koi. And so we ordered in bulk. They deliver overnight. They arrive in this big bag on your doorstep. You pour them in the water. That was our 40 more. And then they reproduce as animals in a tight location will do. And so we think around 200 now.
I'm a fan. I follow, I watch your crazy adventures because there's always some drama. There's always something new. And we're going to come back to that one a little bit, but I want to bring it back to Juan real quick, because last time we talked, you had just finished doing an expo. You have been growing so much over since the last time we talked to you. And I want to dive into like what's been going on with you and your artistic flow.
Well, after my first solo exhibition, I decided that I just don't want to be an artist, but I also want to dedicate part of my time to educate people about how to do community, how to create and build a community around something meaningful.
Okay.
So I saw the need in the Hispanic community here. So we are probably, a very growing population.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. So we are not organized. So I found a way using arts and culture just to create that connection. So I dedicate part of my time to being a consultant also, and also to finding the right places and people to connect us.
I love it. And a follow-up question, because I want to see who's got the correct story on this one. How did you guys meet?
Oh, I can answer that one.
I want to hear his first, because
Okay.
I want to make sure I'm putting you on the spot, Juan.
Wow.
So how did you guys meet?
Well, we met through Boris.
Okay.
Boris, he is the gallerist at Mills, and he is probably the biggest supporter for the Hispanic community from the other side.
Okay.
So I got lucky. I met him, and he is very good friend of Bess. So he introduced us.
He introduced you guys.
Yeah. So yeah. So the reason we were introduced, though, is because my brand, which is called Unio, that I do my digital marketing and stuff from, I interview a lot of community builders. That's kind of my thing. Like, I talk to people all over the nation about how they are building community. And Boris said, I've got the guy for you to interview. Juan Pablo is working to really unify the Hispanic community and bridge that gap between everybody else here in Central Florida to really make it. And so I'm like, oh, I'd love to have him on. And so he came on, and that's how we really got to know each other as a guest on my podcast. Cool. And one of the very cool things about it was I'd never heard the term community unifier before.
Yeah, I learned that term earlier this week.
I'd heard community builder, and I'd used community builder, and
I've used community organizer.
Yep. And he's like, I don't like that term. I am a community unifier, and I loved it. And I'm like, okay, tell me more.
Yeah, because like that term itself right there with community builder and community organizer, when you throw in the community unifier, like that honestly, I was like, that's actually a pretty powerful title to have right there. Because living here in Southern Florida, there are so many divisions in regards to community itself, and each community has something that the other doesn't, or how would I say it, like has a skill or a connection that the other community does not. And it's pretty cool that you're coming along to like unify everybody, because I guess the goal of your program is to just like move further as a community, right?
Yes, correct.
And like how do you see it going so far?
Well, you know what? I want to add something to what Bess said, and you are an example for me. Because I read
Oh, into the microphone.
your book, and I also start following you on Facebook, and you are all about building new communities and finding new ways of unify us. And I mean, that's part of everything and part of all this journey together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well said, Juan. And now I want to bring it back to you, Bess, because with you working in marketing, you having your presence on in the social media realm, what brings you into the art world?
Oh my gosh. I've always dabbled in art. I've always done artsy things, right? Around our house. If you walk in our house, it probably looks like an art store kind of
It does.
exploded.
For what we've seen on social media, it does.
We own the color. We're good with color. My husband and I are both creative. And I actually discussed this concept that I think there are two types of people in the world. There are creators and there are consumers.
Okay.
One is not better than the other. It's just different types of personalities. For example, my mother, incredible consumer, reads more than one book a day, just consumes. My son is a consumer. He listens to podcasts nonstop. He watches the videos, typical, Gen Z. And I was always been like, you know so much about movies and stuff. Why don't you do your own podcast? Has no interest in it, just wants to consume it. Whereas I think my husband and I are both what I would call creators. Like we'd be like, oh, we want to do that. We want to try that. So that said, I just had this thing inside me with the art. And when I first saw these gourds, I'd been sculpting a little bit during COVID. And when I saw to sculpt, you have to have an armature, right? Like a skeleton, right?
Okay.
That you put the clay over. And the gourd makes a perfect, for your viewers, I do gourd art. So I start with a gourd, which is like a dried melon, or a lot of people don't know what a gourd is, but it's like a dried vegetable. And it creates this hard wood when it's dry. And that became my medium, my skeleton to put this stuff over.
Okay.
And it was like I could create these little creatures. And my poor husband, we have all these whimsical, I think I have like 30 now around in our living room staring at him with the eyes, but he's very much looking forward to the show so they get out of the house. But it just seemed like a natural extension, because I'd have this concept that I was mulling over with work in my mind, and then it kind of get funneled into these gourds and these sculptures. And so I think I just saw it as kind of an extension to what I was already doing, just in a very different medium.
Gotcha. Now, with that being said, Juan, you've traveled the world, you've seen different styles of art. Now, I want to ask you this, like it's kind of a deep question, but like, what's your interpretation of Bess's art?
Well, I represent Bess because not just because the way she is, she's a great empowered woman, but also because her artwork is very deep. It comes from the inside, it's about experiences in life. It's about humanity. It's about what needs to be talked right now, and we don't talk about it. It's about mental health also. So it is really powerful art that I'm pretty sure is going to impact a lot positively.
That's exciting. That's exciting right there. Cause like that is a bold statement to say. Now, with you dabbling in art, in your time, in your domain, I should say, like, how does it feel to put yourself out there with something that you feel true to yourself, but like it's new to the world. Like, how do you feel putting yourself out there?
Terrified. Absolutely terrified. Yeah. You know, I feel like some people are like, hey, surprise, I'm an artist now, when really it's not that. I'm not really changing course. I'm just kind of extending what I already do. I mean, I already, through Florida BlogCon and through Florida Swim Network, it was all very community, Florida interested. I'm born and raised here. I really care about this community. And, there are people that are doing great. And there are people that seem to be doing great, but are struggling. And there are those that share their struggles with the world. And I always come back to that. You never know what anybody's going through. And I, myself included, we always put that, especially on social media, you put that happy joy out there. But, you have rough days, you go through things. And I think sometimes we forget that. And so I really like this to, for example, one of my sculptures is a unicorn. It's a very happy, pretty, a little girl would love this sculpture. The person that I had in mind, though, with it, I actually sat down and we did an interview, because there's an interview component to this particular show where I interviewed and talked with a lot of people and recorded those interviews. And when you scan the unicorn, the interview will pop up. And so it's part of the actual artwork. I call it a multimedia project. And that was Anthony Biggie Bencomo from Deli Fresh Threads.
Ooh, okay.
Love Biggie. And I had known his backstory, and I asked him if he would mind sharing it. First of all, Biggie is one of the most positive people you will ever meet. He spreads sunshine and positive. He's the type of guy that will just say, he'll reach out with a text and be like, hey, are you doing okay? Just want to make sure you're doing okay. He's that type of thoughtful person. So I knew when I did this unicorn that kind of represents joy, I'm like, oh, I want to have Biggie for that interview. We sat down, and what we talked about was he actually lost a child. She lived for 12 days, and Biggie tells the whole story. And the question I had for him that this unicorn cup represents is, how do you find joy after something like that? What lessons could he share with the rest of us about finding joy once again after going through something like that? So while my sculptures do look kind of like little whimsical, quirky little characters, they really do have this deeper meaning that really can be shared with the community.
Now that's actually pretty deep right there, because I completely get what you're saying in regards to death itself, the interpretation, and how the grieving process in a sense. But no, I've had the pleasure of I believe I met him through my buddy Billy Floyd from Kitchen Killers. Yes, there we go. And
do they still do their concerts?
Oh, of course they do. Where you been at, Bess?
Friday night concerts,
yes.
guys.
Yes, whether it's our kitchen or someone else's kitchen or somewhere out there throughout Central Florida, the Kitchen Killers are doing their thing. But bringing it back right there, Juan, right there, what you just said, the unicorn. Have you seen that piece?
Yes.
And what's your take on that piece right there?
Well, my take is that Bess has something that is really important for an artist, and this is it's about backing your piece, like you support what you show to the whole world with the story behind. So there is a story behind that is inspiring, so I call this like an inspired action. So I see Bess as a creator, and when you create a piece, it's like you are inspiring somebody else through your art. So every single piece that Bess has made has a very deep meaning, and I believe that is going to transcend, because when you try to help somebody through your art, you are putting yourself out there, you are being vulnerable, and that's something that I admire. And I respect you a lot because of that, and that's why I think that we create that kind of rapport, just to move this message forward.
Yeah, I mean, your support has been amazing.
And I'm kind of like having a little bit of a deja vu right now, because I remember when you and I talked the first time, your beginning career was like in finances, right? Like you were in the corporate world.
Well, I was in corporate, not finance.
Sorry, my mistake.
No, but I used to work in finance before, but I ended up my corporate career just working in the field.
Mhm.
So yes, I come from the corporate American side.
And like you took that dive into the art world, and I wanted to ask you guys in regards to, because your interpretation from what I've seen, I feel I'm confident with what you're going to say, but I still want to hear it. Uh, is it a completely different spin from what you're used to?
Yes.
In what sense? Like, can you elaborate on that a bit?
But you know what? When I was corporate, it was all about me. When I became an artist, I understood how lives work. You gotta give in order to ask. So I adapt my life on becoming an artist, and then from that point, I built something to become more like to carry this message as stronger. So I found out that we need help. We need to help each other. So I learned through you also how to build sustainable community. A
Mhm.
community that is going to go on and on for decades. So yes, it had a tweak, but it's arts and culture.
Now, same one for you, Bess, with your background,
Mhm.
and then like you said beforehand, that you've done this, in your life for a while. Like, what's the difference between where what you're used to and to now entering the new world of art?
Well, first of all, I know nothing about the world of art, and that's where Juan Pablo. I mean, so I actually see I see his corporate background actually as a really big asset because he mentioned things to me, considerations that I don't always think about, like, well, what would the audience think of this? How can you convey that meaning to them? So he does think in those terms that I don't always think of. So I mean, it's a really good relationship for me able to oh yeah, I didn't think about that. How do I convey that? Um, as far as the difference, so are you talking in terms of like workflow, like how my day goes, or
I was thinking more of like the mental aspect, but let's talk on both in regards to like the flow itself, what from what you're used to what you're doing now.
so I am up generally by 4 a.m., believe it or not.
Really?
By 4 a.m., I'm in the art studio.
Wow.
Now, it's my son's converted bedroom, but I sound bougie with an art studio.
Of course.
So,
Yeah. I can edit that part out.
um, but, I think it's plus I'm just getting old. All right. So when you get older, you don't sleep as well. But I'm literally up at 4 a.m. thinking about an art piece that I want to do. And a
Mhm.
lot of times it's a reflection of something I've been mulling over the night before in work. Or, I've heard a story about a friend or something like that. And so then I'm in the art studio actually working on that. I'll spend my first probably 4 hours doing that. So 4 hours in the morning, around 8 o'clock, I'll then fix breakfast, get ready to start my day with clients and things like that. And then afternoons, if I'm not live on TikTok, I'm back at it again. So it was one of those things I'm like, if I'm spending the most time on it, I
Now,
probably need to do something with it.
now with the flow itself, awesome answer right there. Now I want to talk about in regards to like the mental flow of the day itself.
Yeah. So I think, there's, I think there's some people out there that can probably identify with this, that you just have to get it out of you. It's kind of like, I equate it to having a really good cry when you're upset.
Oh,
It's bottled up inside you. You have a good cry, it gets out, and then you can go on with your day.
I went to the roof today to scream. That is a true statement. I went up to the roof to just like because I just needed to.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I've always expressed on the show, that like if there's a feeling of sadness or anger or actually here's another one. I was recently at it's not eccentric, but it's kind of like a drum circle. And I'd met these really cool people. We were around a fire. We had this music playing, and it was just us letting go, us just enjoying each other's company, enjoying each other's energy. And at the end of the event, we all sat down and we shared a little bit of like, what was going through our minds, what were we feeling tonight. And one girl just came up and she was like just a little upset, and she's like, I just had a lot of anger. I have so much anger right now. I don't know where it's coming from. And I remember at the end we were like, well, hey, if you need to yell, just yell. We're here for you. And I went up to her afterwards and I'm like, you didn't yell. Why didn't you yell? She's like, I'm scared. I'm like, you are here with, trustworthy people. We're all on the same level. If you want to yell, no one's going to judge you. And the moment I said judge you, she just let out like the most horrific scream. It echoed right there in the forest. And I think we all felt her energy just shift right there because she actually let go. Now, there are some people who are going to take what I just said right there, like, the hell is the guy? What is this guy talking about? But over the past few, I would say the last 2 months, I've taken a different turn in my thought process with how I see life and how I go at it, and it's been a journey for me. Um, and I was excited about this interview because you guys, Juan, I know you've gone through your trials and tribulations, and Bess, I've seen the positive side of TikTok. I've seen what I see through social media. So I don't know your full story, but the fact that this art is coming from somewhere, and it's an interpretation, like right there, the story about the unicorn and how this gentleman, had that horrific thing happen in his life. But what's the other inspiration, Bess?
Yeah. So, I, I've led a very blessed life. I've felt very lucky with with my life, and I'm aware of how blessed I've been in it. But that doesn't mean I don't, have the same tribulations as other people. I had the loss of my brother 13 years ago, and he was one of my best friends, lived right down the street from me. And so, having his loss impact our family. My father passed away just a few years ago after struggles with Parkinson's and emphysema. He lived in our house, so we were all caretaker of him. And I've had family members deal with addiction as well. So it's allowed me to really appreciate the blessings that I have. And even when things are not going great, I know that, you know what, I'm alive. I'm this side of the earth. And the other thing, and I say this all the time on TikTok, we all know the world out there, the news cycle is as depressing as it comes. I mean, it really is. It doesn't matter what your politics are, it's depressing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People are angry at each other. They are, more siloed than ever. And so my philosophy has always been, let's put a little positivity out there. If we can just make one person's day feel better, then that's all we can do.
And when I heard of the title that you had, I remember, telling Boris, I'm like, that's perfect. Because when I met you, like, I think it was like, what, under a year ago?
Yes.
Right after that, you and I stayed in communication. You get me in contact with some really cool people. I finally got to hang out with you outside of, the art world. And we had, like, by far one of the most prolific conversations that I've had in a long time, because your energy, I still can't tune it out. It's unique because it's powerful, it's inspiring, but there's something else behind, like, your energy, Juan. And when Boris told me, hey, I got Juan and Bess, I'm like, this is awesome. This is awesome. I get to learn about someone new, but I also get to talk with someone who I've seen grow exponentially in just the short amount of time that you've been here. You're making your impact here in Orlando. Every other day I see you accomplishing something else, making moves on behalf of not just, one community, but all in fact. And I got to ask you this one. What's your drive on that?
Well, my drive is that I'm living my dream. Actually, I mean, I found out that helping people and living out of like a burning desire, before, as I told you before, it was all about me. So I was selfish and I failed in so many ways as a human being,
Mm.
that I want to make it right. And I re-evaluate my life. I put myself out there like you are doing, best, vulnerable, and I face the mirror, and I had that heavy conversation with myself about what I want to do in life. And the only way that I found out is helping people. And through helping people, you feel something that is called joy, which is different to happiness. happiness you get it from buying like a car or something, but joy is something that you just get when you help people. At least that's my experience.
I've never heard that interpretation before, but I love that. That is really prolific right there, man. And um
I became addicted to joy, and joy is something that I felt like joy when I help somebody without even think about it, and I saw that smile or maybe something that moves me. So that's joy, something that and you get addicted to that. Once that you get it once, you want to get it more. And I found out that helping and talking to people and getting to know experiences gives me a closest path to joy. So that's, yeah.
no, that's all. Wow. Yeah, Juan, addicted to joy. That's a good one right there.
Joy, yeah.
Uh, now, Bess, I heard you just mention right there, like the loss of some close family members right there, and that's never easy. It tends to put like a block on a lot of people's lives, whether it's their personal relationship with with friends or family, and sometimes their professional approach to life. And there are people who haven't recovered from certain from the death of certain people in their family. There are some who still struggle, and but there are some who overcome and remember the fact that they live through you in each and every day. We keep their memory alive through all our actions, all our steps forward in life, and the impact that we as individuals have in this world. Um, I'm excited to see your art, and I want to talk a little bit more about your art a little bit, but kind of connect these two worlds together real quick. What has it been like working with Juan Pablo?
So I just want to appreciate the irony and the exceptional opportunity I have that here he is kind of representing and hoping to unite and integrate the Hispanic community. And I'm a middle-aged white woman. And he has extended
What?
and he
No.
has extended his arms around me and he's like, "Come here, I will help you through this art world." I mean, I am so blessed with that because it's not my world yet. Yet.
Well, and that's the intention, is to show that we can get together, and that's part of being a community unified. I guess that we have a community unified inside, from the family or something, when we want to unify us. And this is a call for the Hispanic people out there, just to try to find the right way and the right connector to connect to American community, because this is a great opportunity to make America like a better place to live. We are already here. Why we cannot get together and make it better? If not, we are going bad.
And this is where I'm gonna I throw in my 2 cents. We're both of Hispanic culture. Yeah, Colombian, right?
Yes.
All right, a Mexican. We approach life different, our two cultures, but at the same time, the one thing that I say, puts us up there is like we bring our people together when things need to get resolved. And I remember growing up in Chicago when someone had a fault, or someone had an accident, or someone was going through a hardship. Like, we came together to make sure this person got everything resolved. And I'm kind of dealing with that myself, as I think everyone saw my social media earlier this week with with Tiny Car. But I have faith that everything's going to be resolved. To different people, whether it's a faith in God, or, in my words, faith in the universe. I feel that what Beth said earlier, that you put out positivity, and you're going to get more bees with honey. You're going to get more positivity if you throw more positivity into the universe. And just knowing you, and finally in person, I feel your energy. I feel your vibe, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do into this new realm of art, because as a content creator, you have what was the last number I saw? I think it was like 81,000 follow.
I think so, around there.
But here's the one thing that stands out: you have 2.2 million likes, meaning 2.2 million people in this world saw your expression of art and took that microsecond to be like, you know what? I'm gonna double tap or I'm gonna hit that heart, and I'm sure hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of people have shared your videos that bring a certain peace or joy or happiness to them because you're caring for these fish. It's a different adventure every day. It's something new developing, and it's cool because you're keeping everyone up to date. uh and I too am on TikTok, but I have a different niche to it. I like trying my best to make people laugh, trying to rattle the cages. But I'm sure you've had your fair sense of communication through TikTok. Now, I wanted to ask you, what has been like the most positive reinforcement or positive action that has happened from being on TikTok?
You know, because I focus on really putting positivity out there. Not saying that I don't have drama on there with my HOA, complaining about the HOA and things like that, but it's all in good-hearted fun. I don't get a lot of trolls on there.
That's awesome.
And to me, that's the greatest affirmation that people realize that, I put out a TikTok the other day. It was a slow day. And I was like, I can't think of anything to put. So I just went on like, hey guys, I know when it was. It was the day after the Nashville shooting.
Oh.
And I didn't feel like doing anything fishy wise or anything like that. So I just went, I'm like, hey guys, if you're having a tough time, let me know if you need some love. I'll send you some love. And I had one lady, her name was Jean. I don't know her. I can't remember her username, but she went on there and she said, I would love some positivity. I'm fighting cancer and the chemo's got me down. I would love that. And it just feeds into the whole, you never know what people are going through. And so I made her a fish video. I said, hey, Jean, I can't do anything else, but maybe you can get some positivity and some sunshine here from Florida. Why don't you watch my fish swim? And I just played like 4 minutes of my fish swimming with some pretty music in the background. I said, maybe take this to chemo with you next time. Just let you know that somebody's thinking about you while you're sitting there. For me, that's the whole point of social media, is to connect people and build that community. Every single piece of my art focuses on some type of community aspect. And I just really see it as an extension of my social media, my art, my community building. It just all kind of goes together.
As a community unifier, Juan, like what has been the hardest part of this new title and this new approach on life?
Well, the hardest part is being putting people together. Actually, it's like we want to make an impact, but we don't know how to do it. So, and some of my Hispanic community people, they don't believe like this change can be done. But I was impressed with the acceptance and gratitude that the American community have for the Hispanic. But we have all these stereotypes that we want to break down. We want just to. This is the time when we need to make relevant changes. We need to disrupt ourselves and not waiting for somebody else to disrupt us. It's like this is the time to make changes and get together. And we have a great opportunity in Orlando. So yeah. This is part of this whole project, but yeah.
Can I add to that
By all
just
means.
a little bit? So Terry Olson, who's the director of arts and culture for Orange County, he was one of the people that I sat down with to discuss kind of the importance of art for one of my pieces. You connected us, thank you. And one of the things that he pointed out that just kind of blew my mind a little bit, that kind of feeds into what you're talking about, is that Orlando is on track to be the most diverse city in the world by the year 2030.
Wow.
Man, it's just a few years away.
Yeah.
And he said there are already 140 languages spoke within our schools.
Are you serious?
Yep.
That's a lot, huh?
So even though that comes with challenges, right? How do we communicate? I'm just sitting here thinking how much richer that makes us, and how many more brains we have bringing to the pot to do these incredible things. if we can bridge those gaps, which I love that you work on.
Wow, I need to talk to my my school friends, because I wish they would have told me that a few weeks ago, because oh my god,
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
that
140 languages already spoke in Orange County schools as a first language. And I assume they're learning English as a second language, but can you imagine that? I mean, one of the things I actually love, I love when I'm like walking around town and I'll hear people speaking different languages. I love being an international city. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool.
that brings a huge, just hearing that number brings a huge ray of sunshine right now, because wow, that's a huge step forward. That is a huge step forward. And the one thing that we need to do, especially right now, if that's there, Juan, if that is there, imagine the possibilities that, if we were to unify all those cultures, all those races, with different thought process, different approaches on life. There's something there. I can't say what it is. I can't identify specifically what we could fix, but like, when minds like that come together, dude, the world is, I mean, I can't even come up with the right words right now. That's exciting all around, man.
And Orlando is a center for the metaverse, artificial intelligence. Also, we have EV cars here. We got a whole new technologies here. Mayor Dyer, he is bringing a lot of technological companies here. So what he is doing is shaping the future of this city, and we have to take advantage of that also, just to get together and make it better. There is no point if people who has the power to make changes do it by themselves. So they need the support of the whole town.
100%.
Yeah. So we have a great opportunities on that. So we have everything there. So we just have to put it like it is and just take action.
Now, as we're wrapping up the hard parts of the interviews, I want to ask you this, Bess. Like, what is Orlando? How do I say this properly? What does Orlando have to look forward to? What you got coming for us?
From me personally, or just what is hopeful? What is on the horizon? Artistic wise. So for me,
a lot of surprises.
My show. So I'm really excited. So if you're around in the month of June, stop by Mills Art Gallery and check out my gourd art. Not only will you have the gourds there that are these it's so funny because one of my TikTok followers described it as odd but delightful, and I'm like, okay, I can take that. And as Juan reminded me, my art should not be for everybody, right? There's no single art that everybody loves, so I'm okay with that. But so I've got the art show coming up, the art exhibit for the month of June. So stop by if you're there. Opening night.
I'll definitely be there opening night.
Yay. And you'll be able to see the videos I've been working with. There's really some amazing people who agree to sit down and kind of explore these themes further.
And what do you know the dates off the top of your head?
June 1st for the opening reception.
Okay.
Yep. So June 1st from 6 to 9 p.m. at Mills Gallery. And then the exhibit goes on throughout the month of June.
Okay, so all of June.
Yep, all of June.
All of June.
And then, I would love to say that I have a theme for my next exhibit. They're going to be gourds.
Ooh, look at you. You're already thinking about your next exhibit.
I am. Well, the thing is, I'm up at 4 a.m. I've got those 4 hours. If I finish the gourds for this one, I'm still making them, whether or not I'm going to show them or not. So I might as well figure out a theme. So anyway, Juan Pablo has really kind of helped me fine tune like how to think of an artist and like, okay, this is a good theme for this. These look together, they work together. Now be thinking of your next one. So he's also teaching me to think from a art as a business point of view, which is not something that I've done.
See, good hands right there.
Yep.
What about you, Juan? What do we got to look forward from you?
From me, has community unifier
as in general and everything.
Well, I'm on a mission here. I have a vision for 2030, and I see Orlando has a really vibrant cultural city, and I have a lot of work to do, but I need the support of my Hispanic community, and also the people who wants to make changes and they don't know how to do it. there are a lot of ways to be part of something meaningful, and just to create just to create a legacy. When people think about legacies, they think about 200 years ahead. Like what I want people to know about me 200 years ahead.
Mhm.
So I think that we can create something really big here through arts and culture, and taking inspired action, and just talking about it. Just talking about this rich, diverse community that we have here. And I think that is our responsibility as Hispanic to get together and find the right connector to the American community, which is the most important part, because we live in America, and we have to do it. I mean, good. So yeah. So I see it clear.
Awesome, awesome. And as we're nearing the end, I want to give you guys sorry, I want to give you guys like the final few moments to like your final thoughts on our conversation and just in general. Any final thoughts you want to throw out there?
Well, before I give my final thoughts, I would like to ask you something. You mentioned that you are going through a hard situation, right? And
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
need
yeah.
the
With
support of the community. So could you tell us what it was?
yeah. So I didn't want to give us full sob story online, but over the past few months, I've been working my butt off to move my mother from one facility to another up in Chicago, and finally got everything saved up, and made that final payment. Everything's finalized. I'm going in May for the transfer. Make sure everything's going good. And then right around that time, hit a hardship with my vehicle. Thought I could fix it myself. I fixed certain things about it, but there are other things that I I I can't fix because I don't have the proper tools nor the expertise, and it's this point right now where I have to give it to to the professionals to fix up, and really caught me at a hard time because it everything that I basically put aside was to make the move for my mom, and I'm basically dealing, I take this to a mechanic shop and I've gotten some estimates here or there, and it's to the point where I either fix the car or, get me another little used car. And the reason why people always said, hey, why don't you just, get a new car, get a new car. A few years ago when my grandmother passed away, this was like actually during one of the hard times of my life where I was locked up for driving on a suspended license.
Mm.
I was arrested for a fight non-violent offense, and I did a little bit of time. And in that time, 2 days before my release date, my grandmother passed away, and I came out and I found out that my car got repossessed. Our home went into foreclosure, and I basically had to start all over again. And I don't know if you know this, but if you have a foreclosure on your credit score, it fucks it up.
Yeah.
It fucks it up real bad. So that's really not an option. I basically at this point right now, I basically have to, save up all my pennies to fix Tiny Car. But I am blessed right now that a really good friend of mine, I told him my story, and he's like, dude, I have a second car. Just take care of it. You people rely on you for entertainment. People rely on you for jobs, for podcasting. So you need to be out there. And like without hesitation, he's like, come to my house. We'll get you set up. And yeah, that's the reason why I pulled up in a car today, because my friend Ricky was like, here, I got you, bro.
So you open a GoFundMe.
I started a GoFundMe to get the money so I can fix the vehicle.
Well, so this is the great opportunity to show the support from our Hispanics. So yeah, let's see. So you are gonna give us some.
Yeah, I'll put the link along with the with this post, and I'll put it back up on the social media to share out. But yeah, no, I've been getting some pretty cool contributions over the last few hours. Started up on Friday, and we're getting there.
Excellent.
And I'm blessed to have great friends, great people in the community who who are just going to throw a little bit of change or whatever they're able to. And I appreciate it. Believe me, I'm doing my part as well. I'm I plan on putting some more deposits, some more money into that account as well, because you know me, I'm nonstop.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm not going to let that put me down.
Let's show the support. Let's show the support, guys.
And I appreciate that. And I thank everyone who's made the donations to the GoFundMe. It really means a lot, and that's just me coming back into the universe. Hey, I'll take care of you when I can with what I can do. Right now, thank you for all the support.
Absolutely.
Bess, anything? Your final thoughts as we're wrapping up.
Way to throw it to me, guys, after that.
He started it.
Very close.
First of all, I'm really sorry that, that was a perfect example of you never know what somebody's going through, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you really don't. You really don't. And so I guess I would remind viewers at home, speak to people kindly, because you don't know what's going through. I'm sorry that you're having these problems, and I hope you can get to take care of your mama.
Oh yeah, no, that's already been taken. Luckily, all the money that was supposed to for that has already been taken care of. I just have to fly up there. I already got my ticket, and just everything just wrong time. But as long as mom's taken care of, I still have air in my lungs, a sight in my eyes, pip in my step. I'm gravy, baby.
Now, I hope the fates turn and give you a little luck from this point on.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, though, for having us on. This was really delightful, and I appreciate the opportunity to sit down and talk my art. You're my first interview as an artist,
and I will say this: you knocked it out of the freaking park. Well, I mean, you're a podcaster, you're a TikToker, you're on, you know the game, and I was so confident that I was going to have a great conversation with you. Not because Boris told me to, I'm kidding. Not because Boris said so, but because Boris is never wrong. Boris is never wrong with the people.
That is accurate.
He backs up, and the people he pushes towards me, and like literally without question, I'm like, yes. I remember the conversation that him and I had. He's like, let me send you a link to her things. Let me send you this. I'm like, no need. I know exactly who this individual is. I would love to sit down and talk with them and finally get a feel of them in person. But no, Bess, thank you so much. Look forward.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Look forward to your art exhibit coming up all the month of June, but right there, June 1st at Mills Gallery, beginning at what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. I will be there with bells on.
Awesome.
Hopefully the bells still fit. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down with me. Check me out every Tuesday at Goyokan in Lake Mary for Goyokan Lake Mary for Taco Tuesday trivia. This Thursday we will be hosting that's not Thursday. This Friday.
Wait a second. Are you the trivia guy?
I'm the trivia guy.
No freaking way. I need to go. I love trivia nights.
Thursday night, I have open comedy mic over at Graffiti Junction, Thornton Park, begin at 9:00. Comics who show up, get a free drink and also a shout out on Real Radio 104.1 on Real Lives. Friday night, we have adult bingo begin at 9:00. But this Friday is adult bingo karaoke. So in between bingo games, we do some karaoke with all the people who come out. And Bess, when I host trivia, I'm going to make sure to throw you a personal invite to come on out. Okay.
I would love it, but I don't sing, so I won't be there for karaoke. Don't sing.
Also, and with that being said, if you're not laughing, you're not living. Live every day to the fullest, but always do it with a side of chaos. I'll